I met Derek and Leah Klein last year at Win the Storm, started investigating a little bit about what they do and their hail maps and things like that. I loved what they had to say and what their customers had to say about them. That's one thing that really sold me, was the word of mouth. So I ended up calling them up one day, going through a demo, signed up for them, and it's been great.
We're doing a material study with them on aged materials and how hail impacts them, driving this truck behind me actually into hailstorms.
What makes Hailtrace stand out is the innovative part of it. They're always developing every day new research, and we actually talk a lot on the phone back and forth. Constructive criticism, hey, I'm having issues with this, and it was really great this year to see a major issue that I was seeing and an idea that I had and actually put into place, and it really made a difference for not just me, but for everybody in the industry.
We process everything in-house with 3 meteorologists. So, like, let's say you need a wind report for an address. You send that to us, and we just go search everything for that address, and we put together a forensic report showing in detail what wind did to that person.
Hailtrace is incredible. They've helped us do a lot of weather research. We've moved from doing our own research and weather data and hail swaths into actually just using Hailtrace full time. The reports are amazing, and I would truly recommend them to everybody that does hail claims.
They are excellent in everything that they do, from the customer service, people that back them up, the accuracy of the maps, the accessibility of the website and the apps. It's awesome.
There's a reason that when you see in Storm Ventures Group or some of the other private groups, when someone asks who they use for mapping or canvassing, 9 out of 10 people recommend Hailtrace, and there's a good reason for that.
After $1 billion hailstorm hits an area, your focus should be on running your business, not on insurance claims. We have helped streamline the insurance process for hundreds of roofing contractors across the U.S., and we can do it for yours too. Visit us online at c3adjusters.com and learn how we can help you save time and get claims paid faster.
Okay, how's it going, guys? It is 5 p.m. on a Sunday. I know I didn't get the forecast out at noon today. Not gonna lie, I slept in a little bit. Past few days have been a little intense. I haven't had too much sleep, but we are here, and I worked a good chunk of the afternoon on trying to get a forecast together. I'm not in front of the green screen. The main camera that we use, if you guys watched, I was having issues with the other camera. The main camera we use is still in the truck, and I was like, screw it, I'm not gonna bother with the green screen. Let's just sit here and discuss here at the office what I'm expecting for tomorrow. Try to keep things from getting way too out of proportion. Obviously, there's going to be quite a bit of hype leading up into tomorrow. The ceiling is very high for tomorrow. I'm not going to downplay that at all. However, we can just kind of go through everything that we are expecting. Feel free to put in any comments or any questions in the comment section. I'll try to chat with everyone about everything. I know, especially if there's anybody who's not within the roofing industry or our usual clients. I know some more regular folks, just friends of mine and whatnot, might be on here, and you got some questions, you can go ahead and put them in. So thanks to C3 Group and Merlin Law Group as always. I do have their pages tagged in the description here on Facebook. If it's your first time watching these videos, go check both of them out. They're great sponsors of ours, partners of ours. Then we go give their page a like and then check out their websites and what they have to offer and everything there. And all right, our website and our app are up and running. If you need any help, you can always give us a call. We can set up some training for you guys. Obviously, maybe not tomorrow. Might be a little busy tomorrow, but Tuesdays and Thursdays we always do live trainings, and we'll get something scheduled with you guys, especially if it's when it's not super crazy busy. So there we go. The computer's running a little slow apparently, so just give it a second here. This is what I have for the forecast for today. I had made this graphic a little while ago before the event even started. So I had an area of concern here across parts of near Illinois and in the Northeast, kind of close to where I'm from. And unfortunately, those are all ongoing now. So things are happening. We've had some golf ball size hail already in Maryland and into Pennsylvania, even up into New York. Some tornado warnings. So stuff's happening. This risk here over by Illinois, kind of pretty minimal. So all eyes are kind of focusing here into the Texas Panhandle, and that's going to actually lead pretty nicely into what we're talking about tomorrow. This is not actually going to fire till maybe 3, 4 in the morning, and this is going to be the start of what's looking to be a very long day on Monday. So I think there's going to be some storms that are going to fire again between 3, 4 in the morning, and probably have 15% chance for both Lubbock and Amarillo. There's going to be a dry line, and it looks like we could see some storms, maybe up to tennis ball size hail that could fall in that. So I'm going to show you the future radars, the most recent run of the HRRR model, and once we do this, we're going to get all into tomorrow. So we'll see storms again after about 10, 11 Z. So that's like 4 or 5 in the morning, storms form, and then they're going to start moving into Oklahoma. So with that, that leads into tomorrow's forecast. So you see I whipped out some blue. We use blue once we go beyond purple. I think we could see some very giant hail tomorrow with any sort of discrete supercell. So any isolated supercells that in this environment that we're going to have set up tomorrow, anywhere here in the blue, you could see some very, very large hail. So 4.5 inches plus. I didn't want to put a top number on there. We could see some wild stuff going on to tomorrow. And that's, so usually I just have the preliminary forecast, we move on, but not this time. We're going to get a little further into it. We're going to break this down to each individual round. I think there's going to be multiple rounds of storms. So we got the first round of storms. That's starting tonight, and that's part of today's forecast, and then moving into tonight's forecast. Hang on, let me try to close a couple things here. Maybe I'll free my computer up a little bit. Just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so first round tonight, starting after about 3 a.m. Storms are going to form in western Texas Panhandle. They're going to move through again, maintaining that 15% for Amarillo and Lubbock I just said a moment ago. But this is continuing to about noon. So I think there's going to be storms that fire along a dry line, and then we're going to see a warm front extending to the north. Now, that is probably going to be one of the most crucial parts of the day, is this warm front that's going to be lifting north, and it's going to fire other storms. So places like Enid and Tulsa, I have a 5% chance to see some hail there. I don't think it could be at the tennis ball size hail, but chances are maybe up to some golf ball size hail if anything really crazy kind of happens on that. But so I got that 5% chance for both of there. Warm front's going to rise north. And the biggest question is, where exactly is this warm front going to hang out? Hang on. Is it going to get further north, get up towards Wichita, or is it going to stay in Oklahoma? We'll talk about it in a second. So again, they're going to fire between 3 and 4 a.m. Texas Panhandle, move to the northeast. Then it looks like they're also going to fire along a northward moving warm front, like I just mentioned early in the area. And then finally, this morning convection will impact the northward extent of later risks. So if we can get if a lot of activity comes and we're seeing big storms and they're hanging out right around Oklahoma City, that's going to shunt a lot of the warm, moist air, maybe south of I-40. I'm expecting it to get up north of I-40, probably north of I-44, possibly even to the the Kansas-Oklahoma border, and that would cause quite a bit more open warm sector for big time storms. So again, this morning activity is going to affect the later risks. It could lay outflow boundaries. The warm front's going to be a major firing mechanism to begin with. So with all of that, that's going to cause a lot more storms. So this is the round 2. This is the main area of the risk. I didn't put the purple in, I just jumped straight to the blue, a little easier to see everything. You can see again, a lot of percentages here, a lot going on, anywhere between 1 p.m. and midnight for tomorrow. So this is where you're going to see that potential for the very, very large hail, up to 4.5 inches plus. I got 20% in Lubbock, 15% for Odessa Midland. These are going to be earlier in the day. 35% for Wichita Falls, 30% for Oklahoma City, 25% for Tulsa, and then I got 10% out further to the east where that's a little more conditional. So I know there's already a lot of hype going on in Oklahoma City. I know that they just canceled school for Oklahoma City, more, probably Edmond. And the thing that is a little more concerning with this versus normal Southern Plains severe weather setups is usually we have a dry line that fires. We do have the dry line. It's going to be back by Amarillo and Lubbock and whatnot. Storm's going to fire off of that. So, but we may have what we call the open warm sector. So the area where there's lots of instability, usually just it's warm and it's very humid, and you're kind of sitting there and waiting for storms to fire, and then the storms will track along that area and maintain their strength. I think tomorrow storms are going to form within that, and that's what's been a little concerning when you look at a couple areas like one of the models I'll show you in a moment. And if you follow me on personal Facebook page, a little GIF that I shared is any storms that that fire in this warm open air sector, the open warm sector, could have very large hail and possibly up to violent tornadoes. And that is why people in Oklahoma City are a little more concerned. So yeah, the dry line's hundreds of miles away, but the big concern is going to be storms firing here in southwestern Oklahoma. So again, dry line will fire storms, so we'll probably see storms firing off the dry line, storms firing in the open warm air sector, so probably a lot of activity going on all at once. The biggest uncertainty, of course, is going to be storm mode. We could get things to go a little too intense and just completely go into a big line, or possibly just have too much activity happening and it gets really messy and it really minimizes that hail, and then minimizes, okay, we're just gonna do this, and then minimizes the potential for big violent tornadoes. So right now it's looking like we could see supercells, but honestly we're not gonna know that till the very early morning. Chances are Frank is gonna be the one out chasing, and we joke around the office that he's cursed, so if anything it'll be a big old squall line or something. But that's why I don't have the percentages much higher than I have them right now, just because we do have that uncertainty. And finally, I have here in red any kind of isolated supercells that happen tomorrow. And this is why they're canceling schools, this is why people are getting hyped up, this is why we might have a high risk tomorrow. Any isolated supercells with everything, all the parameters that are in place for tomorrow. We could have violent long track tornadoes and giant hail. Again, I mean, I have 4.5 inch plus at risk for tomorrow. And that's gonna be, again, between about 1 p.m. up through about midnight. And finally, round 3, that's gonna be from about midnight through daybreak. Eventually, all the storms will fire enough and get going along the dry line back by Amarillo and Lubbock, and that'll have a big squall line that moves through, and that could have, again, I have a 10% chance, we have up to golf ball size hail. That's gonna go across the whole area. That's when Dallas will probably see their chance for storms. I don't think Dallas is really gonna see too much tomorrow. I know DFW, a lot of folks who watch on there. I think you guys are probably going to be watching stuff going crazy off to your north, but in the DFW area itself, pretty quiet until possibly Tuesday morning, and that'll be a squall line that moves through. Big time squall line, initial storms, large hail possible, anything that fires ahead of the line could have large hail. That's your best chance of seeing golf ball size hail, otherwise more marginally severe hail, pockets of quarter size hail as the storms move through. But anything, very strong winds are gonna be with the squall line. I wouldn't be surprised to see some hurricane force gusts if it really gets its act together in the overnight hours into daybreak on Tuesday, where then the risk then continues further to, further to the east on Tuesday. So we could have small pockets of severe hail, and then spin up tornadoes, all possible for your day on Tuesday. So here is what the models are showing. I showed this on my Facebook page. Kind of just shows everything I was talking about. So you have the initial development of storms right here. They move through. You can see more storms firing by the warm front, and then all of this activity here, all these isolated storms. This one shows it going right through Oklahoma City. Big time activity. So again, really the biggest question I have, the biggest uncertainty outside of storm mode, which is always an uncertainty, is where's this warm front going to line up? Are we going to have the warm front right along I-44? If that's the case, then a good chunk of Oklahoma City might not even see anything too crazy tomorrow. Or is it going to set up further north, close to the Oklahoma-Kansas border? At that point, it puts the majority of the population of the state at risk for some big storms. Now, places further east, closer towards Tulsa and maybe Muskogee, McAllister, around there, probably not going to see the chance for the isolated supercell potential as compared to further west like Oklahoma City. Lawton, especially Lawton, I think could be in some big trouble tomorrow. Those areas further east, has to be probably 1 or 2 storms at best will form on from that. I'm gonna look at the comments here, because you had some jokers in the comments section deciding to want to make me say some stupid stuff, so I turned it off on my screen. Okay. Yes, this is indeed going to be on the anniversary of the Moore tornado as well, which is just bad timing. Yeah, so DFW not likely. Kansas City, I think we're going to have a hard time getting activity up to Kansas City. Just because, like what I was mentioning here, I think we'll have a hard time getting past the Kansas-Oklahoma border. I think a warm front, there's going to be a lot of precipitation falling, a ton of rain falling anywhere north of there, and that's really going to kind of limit your instability north of that area. Okay. Anchorage, Alaska, any chance? Yeah, okay. All right, Denver, no, probably not there. I think Denver might even have a chance of seeing a couple snowflakes from this storm. It's a little strong. Okay. Anybody else? All right, not seeing too much. A lot of my personal opinions on this. This is the potential for a higher end risk. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this activity stays west of Oklahoma City. The open warm sector, that's the only thing that is, I think, at play for Oklahoma City itself to see like major hail and big tornadoes. And that's more of a wild card. You can't, it's hard to predict. It's like when you see a storm in the southeast, a big severe weather event, storms just kind of fire up wherever. It's really hard to predict that outside of just very near term. Tomorrow morning, we'll have a much better idea of where it's all going to set up. And again, if it's raining in the morning, if you have all these storms just setting up and sitting right by Oklahoma City, that's going to keep everything further south, and you won't see big tornadoes or anything in Oklahoma City tomorrow. But better be prepared. Could be some big violent ones. I think we will see quite a few tornadoes tomorrow. I'm almost 100% certain of that. It's just a matter of where exactly that's going to be. Everything's favoring more discrete supercells. I know some of the other high-range models have been showing, or high-resolution models are showing more squall line activity, but that is more just the models have a hard time handling situations than showing supercells. I think the environment's very favorable for supercells, very favorable for big-time severe weather. I think the Storm Prediction Center will issue a high risk probably in the morning after they assess how things go in the overnight and they see any sort of boundaries set up and all of that. Derek and Frank will be out chasing tomorrow. I'll be here at the office. We'll do any live coverage, whether it's storm chasing, which assuming technology works with us, or if anything moves towards any major cities, we'll obviously go live. We focus on hail coverage here. So if you're watching and you want to know more about if there's a big tornado with it, I might talk about the tornado a little bit, but we still talk mostly about the hail. If big tornadoes hitting Oklahoma City, and the chances are you might not want to watch our coverage too much. You can watch the local coverage. You're going to really get in the weeds about the tornado threat while we mostly talk about hail and all that good stuff. Okay. Any St. Louis potential this week? St. Louis, Missouri hail. Springfield, Missouri. Yeah, Springfield, Missouri could see some storms tomorrow. I don't think you'll see much in the way of a tornado threat, but the hail threat will be anything along the warm front. I think the warm front's going to get pretty close to where you're at, and could see hail up to maybe 2 inches of diameter there with any storms that can get there. Now, of course, it's a matter of actually getting storms to hit you. Springfield seems to be one of those cities that can skirt away from other things. Do y'all do live hail maps on the app? Yeah, you just got to refresh the page. As we're mapping storms, you can view everyone can view, if you are a subscriber, you can view all the maps that we're making as they're being made. You just have to refresh, and it'll just kind of keep updating as it goes along. And 3 a.m. is the proposed start time. Yeah, somewhere around there. Again, multiple rounds. The main core of the really big activity is going to probably be starting noonish afterwards. Dallas, probably not so much. Odessa, any storm, you're going to have the big storms firing over back your way. So we could see some very large hail on there, especially with the storms firing probably almost on top of them. So, question, why do you hate Kansas City? Make it hail here, please. Well, I don't I don't have the power to control all of that. So I do have more to talk about than just tomorrow. We also can look ahead a little bit. This is my look ahead map. This is showing the jet stream starting like the most recent time frame a little earlier today, all the way through to next week. It looks like we're in an extremely favorable pattern for lots of severe weather and tornadoes. So after just today, it's not going to be much of a break. It'd probably be tomorrow, and then Tuesday, I think there won't be too much hail. I think it's going to be more of a wind threat as the squall line keeps pushing east. But then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all refreshes itself. I missed a part of the forecast. Odessa area possibility for tomorrow. Yes, there is a possibility tomorrow. Looks like we have a chance as storms fire possibly right on top of it anytime after about noon tomorrow. Indiana today, I think Indiana, I can check in right now. Yeah, it's mostly a wind threat. I think, it looks like we had a quarter report that just came in south of Elkhart. So some quarter size hail there. But for the most part, this is all just a wind threat, not much in the way of hail. Further to the east and the northeast, I think there's been some hail there as well. But for the most part, that's kind of subdued. I think there's not too much hail potential. So anyway, with this, I just have a general idea of this is what the average of what everything's looking, and then so continued rounds of severe weather anywhere within here, all the way through next week. I think Wednesday we have another setup coming up, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So no shortage of severe weather once we get past here. I think Dallas, you might be too far south tomorrow unless something fires down south your way. I don't think there's really going to be too much. I think this is going to be primarily to the north of the Red River on the I-35 corridor. Wichita, you might be right in that line. The warm front might get right on top of you and you get some hail and then maybe just a ton of rain. But I think if it stays to the south of you, you might not even see too much hail. You might just see a lot of rain tomorrow. So again, a lot of things come up. How do I become a top fan? I'm not sure, David. Not sure how that works. That's all Facebook's crap. So I think it's just like multiple comments and everything. What else we have in here? So I think some of you guys, I think Derek was live earlier as well. I saw he did his own live video. Hopefully what I said kind of syncs up with what he said. So is Midland, Odessa area in the line of fire? Yes, it is possible here. Anything new this week for Lincoln and Omaha? It's possible this week. Honestly, once I have not looked super closely at beyond just tomorrow. Tomorrow's taking a lot of our attention, especially because we also live here and to make sure everything's in place just in case here. Just here to flex my badge. So yeah, here we go. This somebody asking 15% for Odessa tomorrow. Could see very, very large hail with that. Colorado could see some snow in Colorado tomorrow even. So it could be some big time activity. This system's strong enough where we could actually see some snow try to sneak its way into parts of Colorado tomorrow. All right, so are you still predicting it to be crazy last week in May? Yes. Yes. I think we're tomorrow is just another, probably the more high-end risk, high-profile risk for the rest of the week, and then going through the rest of the week into the weekend. So, again, I'll probably post some of these images on Instagram as well after this is done, so you guys can check it out there. Follow us on Instagram. That's a shameless plug for our Instagram account because I did do a lot of different stuff. I know I went a little more in depth this time, and just trying to talk more about how tomorrow's going to be. There is a non-zero chance that we won't even be able to do a live video tomorrow because storms may be getting going early on and just kind of keep going, or we'll be just going nonstop. So, oh my God, Justin, I'm not going to say it again. So that's why I kind of wanted to get into this a little more in depth for tomorrow, just today, because there's a chance I could only do like a post for the forecast. So how's June looking? Early June looks like it'll probably be very active. I think this pattern is going to continue to at least the first week of June. So follow our posts, hit see first. Again, I did a forecast at 5 o'clock today and was not at noon. Didn't have the time to it. Any more hail for Illinois? Probably after this system moves through. So maybe Wednesday, Thursday, second half of the week. Tuesday, you may not really see too much hail just because I think it's going to be a squall line, and that's not really very hail friendly. So hit see first. We'll be doing stuff, everything. And give us a call, email us, or visit our website, hailtrace.com with any comments, questions, or concerns you may have. If you're doing work tomorrow, you live in Oklahoma, parts of Texas that are at risk, you guys should be very weather aware. That's honestly I know you guys are watching us, but just for tornado's sake, be aware. Tomorrow could be a pretty high-end day if everything lines up just right. So, and also follow our Instagram account. Again, I think I'm going before I go home, I'm going to post those graphics I just showed you guys on our Instagram, so you can check them out and refer back to them and everything. I'll try at the very least to get a forecast graphic for tomorrow out at some point tomorrow morning. I'll do a forecast video if I can, but again, we could be seeing quite a bit of activity very early on, and we might be off to the races and working all day and possibly all night. Who knows? I got to buy some caffeine. That's why I tried to sleep in today, try to get a little more sleep. All right, so thank you. Yeah, I know everyone's being silly. I'm glad. I can't appreciate enough how much you guys are watching us, and our viewers have gone up quite a bit in the last year. Denver, you're gonna have to keep waiting. So hope you guys have a great rest of Sunday. We'll do live coverage tomorrow. If anything crazy happens, we'll be doing live coverage, and we will try to do a forecast video tomorrow, assuming things get going. Could be a pretty big could have a big green pants day on Tuesday. Again, Derek and Frank will be chasing tomorrow as well. So hopefully they will get into some of that giant hail and make for an exciting live video. Have a great day, everybody. Great rest of your Sunday. We'll see you again tomorrow. See you guys.